You're listening to Chameleon Church. Biblical Antidotes for the Modern Man. With your host, Allan Aguirre.
Good morning. It's Tuesday. What's today? November 24th. Oh my gosh, it's the end of November. It's Tuesday, November 24th. This week is Thanksgiving week, where we get to sit around and eat turkey and all that good stuff. I like Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is one of my favorite little, holidays, if that's what you want to call it. It's Thursday. It's Tuesday. You're watching the Chameleon Church Show. Sorry, I was up really late. I blame one of my friends, Josh, for keeping me up late last night. It's Tuesday morning. My name's Allan Aguirre. You're watching the Chameleon Church Show on the Lamb Radio Video Network. I got it right because I realized it says it right there. So I just read it. That only took 2.5 years. The Lamb Radio Video Network. There's a slight delay here because I'm using a new system. I will adjust that slight delay here in a second while I'm talking so that we don't have a delay issue. But it's the Chameleon Church Show. My name's Allan Aguirre, and I am your host. Have been for 2+ years now. And I'm coming live and direct to you from the Wasatch Back. And I don't know if my delay is worse or better. Let me see. Check and see. I don't know. 1, 2, 1, 2. I don't know how I'm going to make this work, but we're going to figure that out. And so we're working on this stuff. No problem. How are you guys? So I don't know if you noticed. So this is my office. I swapped my office around. See? Wow, look at that delay. Hold on, let me fix this delay. Well, besides, you know what? People are still showing up. They haven't. You're not all here anyway. Let me see. Ooh, that's even worse. So let's go down here. Wow. I don't know if I'm going to be able to delay my by this minute. I don't want to delay it. I want to kill the delay. But hey, you know what? I'm not going to worry about it. We are able to. So anyway, this looks better because I'm not using the webcam, the FaceTime camera on my Mac. I'm using my Canon digital single lens reflex, my digital SLR, but it's running through a program called Ecamm that I discovered that I've implemented, which gives you this better looking picture. You have depth of field. So anyway, I swapped my office around, and my desk, I used to sit here like that with my desk and the window to my left. Now the window's right in front of me. The desk is back there because the bookshelf and the desk make a great background. So I liked it. So we did it last night for the first time on the Exodus to Ingathering, whatchamacallit, devotional, Monday night devotional. And I like the look, the way it looked. The playback looked so good. I'm like, man, I gotta keep it like that. Oh look, I got dual logos going on up here. I just noticed. So let me turn off that logo. Oh yeah. See, I got all these little toys and all these little buttons and stuff. So I like the way it looks, and I don't know if there might be. I know there's not a delay right here. Bop, 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 bop. You know, it's about the same thing. I'm not going to worry about it. And I mean, look at the comments. Let's look at the comments. Let's see if there's anybody even out there. Is there anybody even out there? Oh, look at this. There's people out there. Bob, how you doing? Big red button that says end show. Good. Yep. Tell Lenny not to touch the big red button. I know, right? Lenny touched that button last time. We all know he did. He touched it. He's like, oh, master switch. Yeah. Allan needs coffee. I've got some coffee, but I could probably use some more, huh? This is my first cup. It looks good, doesn't it, Roxanne? I think it looks great. The skull cap, yeah, I've had this for a while. Shalom from the Chop, right? Chop and Clear. Good. I'm glad. Anyway, I'm very excited. I think it brings our production value up hugely. And we're going with it. We're going with it. I love it. Thank you for joining us. And we have the new co-host to the show, Vineyard Pastor Lenny Perata. This guy married my wife and I. Dun dun dun.
Good morning.
How are you?
Real good.
You doing good?
Yep.
You're doing real good. Darryl's having some issues. There he is. Let's see if we are you working now, Darryl?
I don't know. Can you hear me?
Barely. You need to raise your volume. You're barely audible.
That's really strange. How about that? The volume's up. I don't know.
We're not hearing you. I mean, we can hear you, but it's like we're not hearing you.
Right. Hang on here.
Lenny, test your mic again.
Can you hear me? Testing.
Yeah, you're like 5 minutes away from you're echoing.
Yeah, I know. I hear it in my own computer.
Are you still echoing now?
Yes. About a 2-second delay.
Wow. Well, it's not what I'm doing over here because you guys are on StreamYard. So we haven't made any changes to StreamYard.
Is this any better?
It's distorted. It's louder, but it's distorted. Are you delayed too?
I don't think so.
No, you're not delayed. So it's just Lenny. Lenny, when did you reboot last?
Last week.
Oh, you're not delayed anymore.
Yeah, he is.
I'm not.
Oh, he wasn't that last one wasn't delayed for me.
All right.
Okay, go ahead and talk though. We can't test it unless you're talking.
Testing. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, that's better than it was. What?
I've been.
You're good.
Talking.
You're not delayed for me.
I'm getting the sound like raining right now coming through the computer.
All right, give me 1 second, everybody. Is that better?
No, I'm hearing a buzz all the way through, like rain falling real heavy.
Is the audio's not good?
When I'm talking, can you hear me? I'm not echoing now. It's clear now.
How's that?
Can you hear me? That sounds good. And I'm not echoing anymore. Can you hear me? Testing.
Are you guys having issues?
Can you hear me?
Hello?
Hello? Allan, can you hear me? Testing.
What's going on?
I can't hear Darryl either.
What's going on?
Testing. I'm not echoing anymore.
Okay, wait. Can you guys talk? I can't. You're not talking, so I can't hear anything.
Hello, can you hear me? I'm talking now.
Now I hear nothing.
I know. I'm not echoing. Just sent you a text.
All right, can you guys hear me?
Oh, totally. Can hear you real well.
Cool. Not sure. Okay. Well, we fixed that.
Can you hear me though?
Yeah, I can hear you
I
now.
can hear you now. Now you can't hear me, can you?
No, we can hear you.
Yeah.
Okay,
You're distorted though, Darryl.
Yeah, I know. Before I was clear, and now I'm echoing again.
Okay. I'm disconnecting my mic here, and I'm going to put it back in. I'm hearing my voice
try the same
echoing
thing.
in the end.
All right, tell me. I'm gonna switch something over here on my end. Tell me if it changes anything. Does that change your audio at all? It shouldn't. Lenny?
Now, Lenny, I can't hear.
See, my switching camera shouldn't. My switching my camera should have absolutely nothing to do with your audio on your computer. I'm not Big Brother. I can't control your computers.
I didn't do any. I just looked at my computer, turned it, switched out of it, and then switched back onto it.
You sound great. And you're in sync.
Okay.
Lower your volume on your speakers. Lower your computer volume, your speaker volume on your computer. That will give you echo.
All right.
Okay, so
how is my voice?
loud and distortish.
How's that?
Sounds good.
Testing. Okay.
Is there any way to control your volume? I can hear myself through somebody's system.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Prayer.
Testing.
Maybe it's the end. Maybe it's the end of it all.
Testing.
Lenny, I can hear you. I can hear you, and you're not echoing, and you're in sync. Darryl, you're distorted.
Great.
This is very frustrating here. Hang on.
Yeah, it is very frustrating. We normally don't have any issues, but it's an impossible. Before, how I had it set it up before, that was my issue. I caused the problem, so I disconnected that audio. It was solely an audio thing. And I'm using a trial version of a audio routing system. I forgot that it was the trial. I didn't buy it yet. That's why that happened. But we're not. So it's disconnected. It's turned off. It's not even. It's no longer in the system. It's no longer in the loop. So, yeah.
Martin,
All right.
I like your comment.
Martin, 3 old guys trying to work the tech. Martin, don't start, buddy.
All right, how's that?
Yeah, good. What'd you do?
I went out, switched mics, changed it around, threw some holy oil on it.
Martin wants to get his butt kicked live on the show. He said, look at what Martin said.
3 old guys trying to work tech.
Yeah.
You need to get ready now.
All right.
Okay.
So that was fun and exciting. We just wasted, a whole almost 15 minutes. How is everybody?
We're here now.
Yep.
I'm trying to figure out. I've been caring for. My wife was sick last week, so I was helping her out. Got Thanksgiving going. We got kid action going. I got little Ariel showing up here probably before the show ends, so I'll be jetting out at the top of the hour. Well, at the top of the next hour. What else? We should be getting we should be getting our new calendar this week. That will be mailing out to those that have pre-ordered it. I'm pretty excited about that. That's going to be a fun and exciting
That's
new
exciting.
piece. I'm excited about it. I'm really excited about it. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome. What else? What's going on in your worlds? Lenny, what's new with you, buddy?
Oh, just Thanksgiving's coming up, and
I love Thanksgiving.
I know it's a great time.
It's the closest thing we can get. It's the closest thing we can get to Christmas, besides Hanukkah.
Talking about Hanukkah, it's going to be an interesting one.
Yeah, why?
Well, I'm hearing a lot of the Torah voices, everything from the middle of the road, Jonathan Kahn, all the way to Monty Judah, to all these other people. They're coming up with all these. It's interesting. It's something you got to watch. They're thinking that with Biden being there and all the disruption, that if Trump really doesn't get it, that the Saudis and Israel will attack Iran.
The Saudis and how is this? So has our show become like a political commentary show? I mean, it's kind of hard not to talk about it.
I know.
It's all involved. It involves eschatology.
Yeah, it does.
Saudi and Israel will attack Iran.
Yes.
Okay, so you know what happens if Saudi and Israel
put stuff together? Yeah, it's all speculation. All speculation.
Sure, but you know what happens if Saudi and
not.
But you know what happens if Saudi and Israel attack Iran?
Yeah.
Biden's in their pocket. He'll have to. Is he going to do back their play and back Iran in a war?
It's going to put him in a very, very precarious position.
I mean, giving them pallets.
Go forward with his Iran stuff. However, how far is he going to allow Israel and Saudi Arabia to go? And I guarantee it'll be precision on their part. It's not going to be all out, but it's going to be an interesting time if that happens.
When you give them pallets of billions of American taxpayer dollars to keep their mouth shut about what really happened in,
$4.5 billion.
The mainstream Christianity believes that what we're talking about is all conspiracy theory. There's no way the last administration on their way out the door gave an Islamic enemy all our money. Man, when Jesus when this thing wraps up, they're going not only are their minds going to be blown because they're standing before the presence of the living God, which is a dreadful thing, but their minds are going to be open and exposed to the fact that everything we've been talking about that they believe is conspiratorial was absolutely fact. And they're going to not have any reference experience when it comes to reality and truth. And God's just going to look at them. How terrifying is that? See, I'm not content with saying, you know what, Bobby Joe. That's my new name for dumbass because I can't say dumbass, right? You know what, Bobby Joe? You'll see. You'll get it yours in the end. I'm not content with that. That's not good enough. I don't like that. You'll see that I'm right. You'll get it in the end. No. I'm trying to help Bobby Joe snap out of it before that happens. Sometimes it would just be easier just not to care about you, Bobby Joe. Especially when you're so mean to me or us and you think we're conspiracy theorists. There's nothing to fear but fear itself. I love that one.
You know what makes it interesting is in Haggai 2, it says, Haggai wrote of a future end-time blessing for Israel. From this day on, from the 24th day of the 9th month, give careful thought to the day. From the day I will bless you, Israel, as Messiah's prophetic kingdom is about to be fulfilled. He goes on to say that all chaos is going to break loose. Well, this year, Kislev 24 falls on the first day.
Yeah, we're in the 9th month, aren't we?
9th month. Yeah.
It's
So
stinking
this
ancient
year,
prophecies lining up
Kislev
with
24
today.
falls on Hanukkah. Praying. I can relate to what you're saying because I don't know if you taught this or where I found it, but on the Day of Atonement, when he comes to judge the nations, and it's going to be radical, it says we're to keep our head down and not have in our heart judgment, for he's the judge. And we're just to cry out to him, thanking him for his mercy rather than wishing judgment upon our enemies.
Yeah.
That's how devastating it's going to be, but how holy it's going to be too. Oh, well, on a happier note, turkey's coming.
The bird, not the country.
Yeah. The,
Right. Well,
I think that was
maybe
a
a little bit
double
of both.
entendre right there. Lenny really meant what he meant. He meant both. He's playing with words. My Lithuanian grandmother made the best stuffing and gravy. Oh my gosh. And and my wife and kids, they're like real cooks. I mean, they can really cook. But my Lithuanian grandmother made the best stuffing and gravy. Yeah, we're with you, April. We're with you on that. I don't know what the heck's going on out there. There's so much disinformation. Have you seen the new reports as of yesterday? Trump administration making way for the new Biden thing. They're cooperating now. And then when you read the article, it says the exact opposite. It's all clickbait. See, that's how they're doing it. Oh, they're giving up. They're giving up. See, we were right. See, they're just doing, it's the same propaganda.
And Stacey Abrams yesterday, she was like, yeah.
People just literally don't know how propaganda works. They're not in marketing. They don't know. They actually went and you got to remember they wore the correct clothes all through school, growing up, right? Their parents are just adult children, so whatever they were told were the correct clothes to put on their children, that's what they put on their children. Then when the kids started choosing clothes, they looked around and they looked at what their peer group was wearing. So they wore the clothes they were told to wear. They were wearing the correct clothing. They listened to the right music, the correct music. They ate the correct cereals. They ate you know what I'm saying? It's all preconditioned because they're all little clones. And the one guy that shows up not wearing the proper clothing, not wearing the proper haircut, who doesn't look like everybody else.
The other problem is they don't study history.
I know. That was my favorite subject. One of my favorite subjects. The only subject in school that I actually paid attention to was European history.
I mean, if you read how World War II came about, he overtook an entire nation. And it's because he was trained in occult practices of how to sway people.
And advertising and marketing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because he was a failed artist.
Yep.
He was a failed. He won. He did win a medal from World War I. He was injured, but he was a nobody. But he was taken aside by Dietrich Eckhart, I believe. And he was trained on how to influence and sway people using words, because there are frequencies that you can use. I watch Pentecostals do this all the time too, by the way. When they're preaching, there's a rhythm that they go into, and it's almost hypnotic.
Yeah.
And when I see Pentecostal preachers doing that, I back right off. It's like, oh boy.
the whole concept behind in my side of the planet, on my side of this beautiful flat Earth, Hitler was one of the first rock stars because he dealt with it like a rock star. He had his colors, blue, red, and white, which the cars actually also, took on for their colors. But it was all marketing. I mean, look at it. It is the greatest marketing campaign machine we have ever seen. And it's because he understood and knew that people will do what they're told. Mm-hmm. You know, if we make it uncomfortable for you to not get the right haircut and dye your hair blue and everyone else is, I mean, I remember walking into 7th grade, 8th grade, and everybody, all the guys, here's what everybody was wearing Vans. Everybody was wearing Levi cords, and everybody was wearing an Ocean Pacific shirt. And they all had hair parted down the middle and feathered back. Every freaking single one of them. And I actually remember standing up in class and yelling at the guys going, look at you. If you didn't have a face, we wouldn't know who you were. You all have the same haircut, the same shirt, the same pants. And of course I didn't, but right, and they all listened to the same music. And they weren't listening to what was modern or coming. They weren't listening to tomorrow's music today. They were listening to yesterday's music today, preconditioned. And they do that, right? And when you get to college, man, you gotta stay in line. You gotta stay in your lane. You can't get out of. You can't color outside the box. You gotta stay within the lines. Well, those people eventually grow up, get married to the girl or right? I mean, the parents, you need to be a doctor. We want you to be a lawyer. What do you mean you want to play guitar, or whatever? It's and then they find the right girl and they, it's like that whole how many movies have you seen regarding that? And they live this timeline that's been established for them, not by God, mind you, but by society and societal norms. Stay in place, stay in line. Yep. They get married. Then they have kids and they do it to them. Well, they've been doing it to us this whole time. But see, people don't know it. In the last, 8, 12 years, they've been pulling back that curtain fast. It's been pulled back. And those of us that have been cognizant of it since the 70s are going, welcome to the party, pal. It's crazy.
We just finished watching the Matrix trilogy. And
it wasn't your first time, was it?
I had never seen the first two movies before. We have the third one, but the third one doesn't make any sense until you watch the first two.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, we saw that when it came. We saw that. Well, so we were at the movie theaters with some friends who are no longer our friends, but and one of the trailers was this brand new movie of this girl in latex floating in the air, kicking everybody's arse, and then running and flying through windows. And my wife and I are like. And then at the end of the trailer, we're like, oh my God, that was the greatest thing we've ever seen. Ever. And the other couple next to us, ew, that was weird. What's that? What's going on? And we're like, ew, don't get it on us. And look at how huge that has become in society. The first Matrix.
Well, the whole idea of the blue pill, the red pill, I mean, that's now pop culture. That's
what I'm saying. Yeah, it's normal. These people, they didn't get it. See, they're the people we're talking about. My wife and I were like, drooling. It looked amazing. The color, the palette, the clothing.
That whole scene
everything.
Where they actually show you when they harvest the babies and then put them in the pods.
Oh my gosh.
And I was just sitting there, it was like, oh my goodness.
I can't. You just saw this, man. Yeah. That's amazing. I'd love to see it again for the first time. My favorite is the conversation Morpheus has with Neo.
Yeah.
I can't tell you. I can show it to you. And then he shows them, residual self-image. This is all a program. You're in a program, and then he can't handle it. He throws up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's
now. I mean, the script was written by a bunch of philosophy students. That's quite obvious. But I mean, at the same time, they are telling you what's happening.
Yeah, they are. There's a whole bunch of stuff like there's green, like there's this faded green in everything. It's like probably the primary color of the color palette, and there's a reason for that. I forgot what the reason was, but it's huge. And the Wachowski brothers, have you seen them now?
No,
they're not the Wachowski brothers anymore. They're both the Wachowski sisters. They went transgender on everybody.
Really?
Oh yeah, absolutely, 100%. Yep. The Wachowski brothers are no longer brothers.
Well, they still are. They just don't look like it.
Well, yeah.
I thought you were going to say they're the Hodge twins or something like that.
Oh no. They're the Hodge sisters. Twins. Sister wives. The Matrix was phenomenal.
But
what the next modern movie that does the same thing to me is the last couple Aliens, because the hybrid, right, is pulling a full-on Peter O'Toole from Lawrence of Arabia, even doing his hair, the match thing. He's watching it, and it's like think about it. You've got who's the guy that made the you got Ridley Scott, right? You've got Scott meets Kubrick with Lawrence of Arabia all meshed together. I mean, that's cinematic. Glorious. So awesome. I'm sorry, Lenny. Lenny, would you please say something? Just jump on in.
Having a lot of thought. It seems like the major part of what the world's looking at is the rise of the demigods, the old Nephilim, the old Watchers. And
we're waiting on.
It's their new superhero, and it's capturing their hearts by storm. Biggest moneymaker there is.
And then you have all the
days
Marvel.
of philosophy are gone. The rise of the Nephilim are coming up.
Well, they don't have to. We're making it easy for them not to have to hide anymore.
Oh yeah,
That's the thing.
totally out in the open.
Yeah. Hey, there's people out here talking.
There.
Bob's pretty popular this morning. Isn't everybody talking to Bob? My daughter wants to get a van and travel. A lot of people are doing that. A lot of people have been doing that. People have always been doing that, but it's gotten really popular this last 5 years or so. Overlanding. Yeah, a lot of YouTubers out there. Well, see, that's the thing. They're living in a van or one of those sprinters, and then they're videotaping it, and they're creating internet series on YouTube and monetizing it. I figure if you're going to do that, if you're going to live in a vehicle and you're in your 20s or 30s, best thing you could do is create a TV show around it and monetize it. Why wouldn't you do that?
Mm-hmm.
My daughter yesterday suggested I do a foodie network.
There you go.
Because I navigate around
for
food,
the demographic. Right? What's that?
Oh yeah, I navigate around food. I always have. That's how I find my way around. That's because I was the bread man for all those years.
Yeah, you were.
That's what I miss for Thanksgiving. It's good sourdough. Oh my gosh.
Just drive on down there and grab some.
I should. They should fly some up to me.
People don't know what we're talking about.
I know.
Tell them.
The best bread you ever tasted. Sourdough French bread. So,
Where would you get
Bacon
that
Company.
sourdough French bread, Lenny?
Oh, yeah.
Lenny, where would you get that sourdough French bread?
You would get that at Frisco Baking Company down in Los Angeles, right on the edge of East LA in Toonerville, right near Dodger Stadium. And it's still there with the big white tower. You can see it from the 5.
Frisco Bakery, the Frisco Baking Company,
Yes.
make the best sourdough French bread you've ever had in your life.
Oh, my gosh.
How long have you been eating that French bread from Frisco Bakery in Los Angeles?
Too long. A long, long time. There's some good sourdough out there. But, the big thing up here in Humboldt County is, I was telling my brother, sourdough donuts. Oh, my gosh, what a killer.
Sourdough donuts.
Fresh
With
blackberry.
the glaze on it.
Yeah, anything you want. Just unbelievable. But they're expensive, too. 4 donuts cost you $12.
What?
They're huge, but boy, are they getting the money for it. They have lines on Sunday afternoon.
Oh my
Go out
gosh.
to this little farm store. People are lined up for blocks just to get those.
Wow. That's crazy. So you're not going to tell them about the Frisco Bakery Company? Okay.
Yeah, we used to make about probably 60 different variations of rolls.
Wait. Who's we, Italian man?
My family.
Oh.
My
Your family. Did you guys get the recipe from the Frisco Bakery?
No, my dad actually started a sour culture up in Colombo Bakery. He was the owner of Colombo Bakery up in Oakland, which is a huge bakery. And he sold his partnership to the rest of there was like 11 partners in that. Went down to LA in 1955 and bought what was called the Marca Baking Company, which was no mafia bakery. And he changed it over, and he had
did you hear that, guys?
sour culture. The bakery had some sour culture back from 1946, and we still have the original culture. And I've given my daughter uses it to make her sourdough and everything else, but it's phenomenal.
So the Frisco Baking Company of Los Angeles was your dad's company that he
Yes.
bought from the mafia.
Well, they were a mafia company. The old La Marca. Everything was, I found out my family back up in Oakland at the turn of the century, they were in charge of all the garbage trucks. They were all mafias. They control the down part of the city. So
That sounds a little bit like another family I know in New Jersey called the Sopranos that ran the waste management.
waste management.
And so in the evenings, you could find Lenny as a young lad at the Bada Bing.
The Bada Bing Show.
So you guys just heard about Lenny's background.
There you go.
One day, I might have to ask a favor of you. Oh, man.
Believe me, man.
So what are we talking about this morning?
I don't know. You're the show. You're the host.
I was told that you come for me, but you stay for you.
But you got to get me started.
Oh.
So you have nothing for us, huh?
I'm out, man. I'm an empty vessel, brother. Oh, man.
I think it's right now. Things are happening so quickly.
Did you hear that did you see the report that George Soros was arrested and there's a media blackout? How do we confirm that?
No, it's false.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, it was. As a matter of fact, there was someone who had actually sent me an email saying that there was a former colonel from the Pentagon who actually retracted the statement.
Remember those emails we would get at the beginning of email I am a prince from Nigeria, and if you send, if we have $50 million, it's the same thing. Former colonel worked with the CIA says that's the same thing. It's the same guy writing the same freaking email. He's just talking about former retired colonels. And you know what? Christians believe that stuff. Like, it's weird. It's weird.
I don't think a lot of them believe it, but it's like we've said. It's so hard to discern what is and what is not, and who's saying what, and And how do you think Trump feels? He is surrounded by sharks. Jared Kushner has constantly been pushing his enemies to be his advisors, and he's picked them. The choice when he got elected for first chief of staff as Reince Priebus, I didn't know that much about Reince Priebus. I just knew that he was the chairman of the Republican Party, and I'm thinking he's going to choose the guys who try to prevent him from getting in now to be his advisor. Even to me, that didn't make any sense. Yeah. And so it's been one disaster after another when it comes to who he's had in cabinet. I couldn't imagine having to be Donald Trump for the past 4 years.
Oh, it'd be brutal, dude.
Like, if you don't have a supernatural anointing from God, you're going to be about the size of a car after it's got out of a compactor.
Yeah, it's been pretty brutal.
So, regardless of how anybody feels about him, we need to be praying for that guy on a daily basis. And now we're finding out here that the Dominion voting machines probably gave the election to Justin Trudeau. So he's not even a legitimate not that he ever was, but now he's really not a legitimate politician.
Talked to my dad last week, and I asked him, did you ever imagine you would live to see the day of a rigged election in the US of A? He goes, well, it's happened before. I go, well, I know that, but it's like they're not even hiding it anymore. He goes, yeah. He goes, it's nuts. His mom and dad walked while my grandmother was pregnant. Well, they walked out of Lithuania. Well, my stepdad. They walked out of Lithuania on foot before the Russians came. They saw it coming. They were smart. Not only were they smart enough to see it coming, they had the sand to walk because they had to walk because they had clamped down. Mm-hmm. She was pregnant with my dad, my stepdad, and his brother and his wife went with him. The two of them with their wives, the two brothers with their wives, one of them's pregnant, walked out of Lithuania, got into Germany. She had the baby, my dad, my stepdad, and then they flew to Chicago, where there was this huge concentration of Lithuanians. It took a couple years, I think. Isn't that crazy? Mm. I had to do some errands yesterday. And it's really disturbing and triggering to me to see all these humans walking around parking lots and streets wearing masks. Mm-hmm. It's like a movie. It's like a really bad sci-fi. It's like one of those. It's like, what's that movie with the Rodney Piper guy? Where they all turn. Somebody knows what I'm talking about. And then he puts on the glasses and he sees that they're alien robot type. They're aliens, and he takes off and they look like normal. What was that movie? Come on, somebody must know that movie. We Live or something like that. They Live or something. You guys don't know what I'm talking about?
Man,
sorry, I haven't saw that one yet.
The wrestling guy, Rodney Piper.
Roddy Piper.
Right, he was in it, and there's all this societal, obey, all this, like everything we're talking about. But then he got these glasses and he put them on. And then he saw the real signs, obey, 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 and the people were aliens. They live, yeah. Thank you, Bob. Jeez. Come on, guys. Get with it. Well, you just saw The Matrix like for the first time last week. What am I talking about? But anyway, yeah. So I'm driving around seeing all these people with masks, and I think I'm in a They Live movie. It's so bizarre. I still haven't busted out my mask that Dina made me. I don't want to get beat up. I'm just kidding. No one's going to beat me up, but it'd still be a little weird.
Boy.
Lenny, what kind of insight do you have to bring to this morning's session?
Not too much this morning. Just having a one day at a time type of thing happening.
Yeah, it's kind of quiet out there right now, isn't it? I mean, there's a lot going on. I mean, there's so much going on that it's quiet right now. It's like the calm before the storm. It's like we're in the eye of the storm, and that eye is going to move, and then we're just going to go,
We're so used to the information coming in so fast, and it's every one of the prophetic people were saying, just wait, don't give up heart, stand, just wait, just wait. And actually, there's about another week and a half left. So are we way off the clock? Are we in the basilisk for real now? We just didn't know it. Yeah, it continued on, huh? Didn't stop.
Right?
Yeah.
No, I think we might be in the eye of the storm. That's why it seems a little quiet, but we know there's more afoot than we can even imagine.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know, when you look at the Middle East right now, Syria, there's things going on in there. Erdogan has put together his own NATO forces that are not part of NATO, and nobody's looking at that. And he's setting up even more a strategic alignment with the people he wants, and especially with Russia. And what was it? A month ago now, he said, Jerusalem is mine. It belongs to me. And it's gone quiet. It's people aren't even looking. And because you know what? It's interesting. The enemy knows what he's doing globally because we're incredibly America-centric. And we should be. We love our country. But
I'm not ashamed of it. I'm a nationalist. I'm a patriot.
Yep.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
We got to fight for our country, you know. I want them to be one of the sheep nations. So that's my biggest cry right now, Lord.
Well, I think there's enough people who are praying, who are petitioning, that we might very well see that. I mean, what really has to be judged in the United States is the pedophilia networks, the sex trafficking.
Yes.
That's the thing, and the abortion. That's what God has to bring down. That's what God has to bring to light. And that's what they're trying desperately with all of their fireworks and everything else and distractions, trying to get people's eyes off of. When the Hunter Biden laptop thing started coming up, everybody dropped a load in the the deep state. And they, no evidence here.
Yep.
If God doesn't judge that, then God's not a God to be worthy to be worshipped. And so this has to come out. It's been going on for a long time.
Right. And it does say that judgment must first start at the house of God.
Well, I've said probably a bazillion times since last year. It was last August that God told me that had started.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
We have a little Tuesday morning time capsule. So weird. Oh, we said that back in January. Yeah.
And so yesterday, Toronto and the west side of Toronto, Peel region, went into lockdown again. I was actually in Toronto on Sunday, and I walked into a store, and I'm like you, everybody's wearing a mask. And then one guy comes in, he's not, and he looks at me and says, "You're not wearing a mask either." And in Toronto on Saturdays, they've got these protests that are going on downtown. So on Yonge Street, which is the main street in Toronto, there's thousands of people that are marching up and down protesting the masks, and this has been going on for months. Nobody's talking about this. Nobody, it's not getting any kind of, but there are thousands and thousands of people. So this guy walks in, he's got all the buttons now on with no masks and everything else. And so he was, I was giving him some websites, tell him, go check out Steve Quayle, go trying to get him to a little more information. But he was so excited to find someone else who wasn't. Because what I really don't understand about all this is how nobody is fighting. Nobody's walking into Costco and protesting. Nobody's walking into the store. They're just doing what they're told. Nobody's even taking a second moment to think that maybe I'm being lied to here. Like, this is just so... I was at an ordination service last Sunday, a week ago Sunday, and the bishop who was doing the ordination actually got up and he started speaking, and then he says, "Oh, I didn't realize I had my mask on." How do you not realize you have a mask on? It doesn't make any sense. Are these people that cowed?
I know a guy that said, "I sleep with mine. It's really comfortable." And I'm just like,
you're going to get pneumonia.
There's such a dullness out there right now. Think about it. On one hand, we're seeing the mask holes, pardon the language.
I'm a mask hole. I'll be right back.
The other thing is that, what do they give an Emmy to Cuomo?
Yeah.
2 days ago, they gave an Emmy to Cuomo, who killed all the grandmas. And the governor of Oregon gets on last night and says, "Okay, we will be sending the police out to monitor your Thanksgiving gatherings." Give me a break. And yet they have all the rioters going to Portland.
Yeah. Newsom
eating at a $600 a plate restaurant in Napa. The hypocrisy is, it's like people just going, eh. That's the feeling out there, and it's sad. You're right. There's no fight. It's like they've taken the wind out of everybody.
Well, it's been so oppressive, and so we were talking about this in the Compass of Cram show last night, that the onslaught of messaging from the media has been, and from the tech giants too. So, Twitter. What's with Jack Dorsey and the reincarnation of Rasputin? Like, there's something spiritual going on there. But this whole, it's been the bombardment of the messaging over and over from all different directions. When you've got guys like Don Lemon and Chris Cuomo and what's that Juan guy on Fox News? Juan Williams. These people are reprobates. How do you not look at Don Lemon and just say, "I want to hit him"? Every time I look at that guy, it's like, I want to hit him. I'm afraid I'm going to break my computer screen whenever I see him. Because the arrogance is it's just so overwhelming. Is like, you stupid peons, you should be listening to what we're saying because we know better. And Don Lemon says, "What have I been saying all along? Wear the mask." I mean, it's just, it's overwhelming. But this has been what's been happening for four, and it was after Trump got elected. So what I'm hearing is that after the election in 2016, China gave the orders to the tech companies and said, "You got to start censoring right now." And so they did. And to the point where even the president of the United States is being censored and saying, "Well, our fact checkers have," like, it's surreal. And nobody's standing and saying, "Hey, wait a minute here." Nobody. Can you imagine even 5 years ago, the government mandating that everybody wear masks?
Well, they have to unleash a Rona to get people to do that.
True. And see, that there's the other problem is that we don't even know what this virus is.
No, we don't. It's more propaganda.
It has.
I mean, there's something out there.
there are apparently different strains that they've released. It has morphed into things. And then you have the whole, the 5G, which is also contributing. I mean, the reason why people were dropping dead in the streets in China was because you got the 5G that's constricting your blood flow. Because this isn't a respiratory disease, it's a circulation disease. And that's why everybody was dying in New York, because New York has the highest concentration of the 5G network. So we don't know what to believe. And you get this news article that comes out that says George Soros was arrested. And then it's got to be retracted. And it's going, it's just, everybody's just sitting there. And like I said last night, when I had left my previous ministry, my rabbi turned from the Lord, turned on me. The guy went totally rogue, went off the reservation. And he had turned the entire congregation against me. One of the couples, there was an older Italian couple who were there. The guy was in his 80s. And we were talking to him right after we had left. And the thing that he had said to me was that there's too many voices. Too many voices.
And cultural appropriation, bro. We got an Italian in the room here.
I know. There's too many voices. And this is the problem now, is that there's too many voices. Now, there's an echo chamber.
The majority are unvetted. Yeah.
So here's the thought. So then the 20 years or 30 years ago, they popularized it. And it's taking shape metaphorically, but you're talking about the false prophet. There you go. There's the media.
Well, yeah, it's in the Seven Mountain. In the book, Johnny Enlow mentions that the media and the media mountain, that it's functioning as a false prophet. Yeah. Wouldn't that be funny? Wouldn't that be funny? We're all waiting for some guy to show up. What if the false prophet is here and it's the mainstream media?
It's going to be both, and this is the precursor to it, the forerunner.
Because if the mainstream media is the false prophet, then we're that much. Then we're one step closer to the Antichrist.
Well, that's what makes it global, is the ability for information to be around the planet at once.
I remember reading. I remember the first time a digital image was taken on one side of the planet. I think it was in the Middle East. A digital camera photo was taken, and as soon as it was taken, it was sent to New York, to the journalist's offices in New York, and it all happened within like a 2-minute time period. And we all went, "Whoa, that just changed the world." That's something, think about it, because that's normal now, but I remember when it first happened. And I was sitting, and I sat there going, what I'm looking at right now happened within the last 5 minutes on the other side of the planet. And I was just like, this is insane what we've just accomplished. What if? Right? I mean, because when we read the Bible, we're thinking, oh, that's what this is going to look like. And we're always wrong.
I know.
So what if the false prophet truly is the mainstream media?
Yeah. Remember what the angel said to Daniel at the very end? And we've always interpreted in light of our Christianese. You know what I mean by that? Christianese for Christianettes. It's the issue of knowledge shall increase and men shall run to and fro across the earth. What if he was giving us some insight to the fact that there's the rise of the Nephilim and the knowledge that's increasing, and yet we know that the knowledge is going to be given to those mescaline at the end of the days to reveal the truth, to prepare the people for the coming of the Messiah too. So there's double meanings everywhere. We used to interpret things just as one set, and you can't do that anymore.
Well, they weren't very creative in their thinking. Yeah, I fully agree, because I remember all that. What if the mainstream media is the false prophet, and it's been here, and it's already here, and everything is being driven by this. Everything is being driven by mainstream media now. It's not a free press.
It's a tool of it. I mean, I still think the false prophet is a person, because he does get cast into the lake of fire with the beast.
Right. It's both, definitely.
But the fact that they control everything,
And what if?
and
But
that
what if they all as one unit are thrown into the lake of fire? Anyway, go on.
they're going to end
Yeah.
up there one way or another. It doesn't matter when.
Because you know how the statue represented like how many kings, but it was one statue. What if the mainstream media is the false prophet and it does get cast into the lake of fire? It's just made right. I'm 7 of 12. I'm 3 of right. It's what's the term?
What, the board?
So, Alan, here's a kink.
Right. But it's not. It's a collective. What's the other term? Is it 7 of 12 or 3 of 9?
Yeah.
You're talking about
the word. The Borg? What? What'd you say?
the board, the collective.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, and the whole hybrid mind thing is also part of the transhumanist agenda. Is that once they can get into your brain through nanotechnology and also the technosorcery and stuff like that.
Oh, whoa. Go on. I've got a JPEG. Go on.
So the inability to differentiate thought is in part driven by technology that can actually control your brain waves.
Yep. Let me throw this kink in. Oh man, look at that.
It's all in there. And look, it even says how the end. So in 1986, God told me two things. Well, one, he started revealing Torah to me. Two, he told me to read Genesis 6 and understand it. While I was figuring out the Genesis 6 thing, the Holy Spirit told me like 4 or 5 things that couldn't be corroborated by the Bible, which is, according to Christianity, that's your first warning sign. I pressed on. And the last thing that was, and one of the things that he said was, you will do physical, not just me, but we will do physical warfare with spiritual entities. And I'm like, well, that's just insane. How do we do physical warfare with spiritual entities? And then this book came out in 2011. This came out in 2011. And it's called Pandemonium's Engine. And right underneath it says, how the end of the church age, the rise of transhumanism, and the coming of the Overman herald. And I was like, dang. So yeah, keep talking. Look at the DNA. The DNA. Look at that.
Mm-hmm. Here's a kink. We know that the anti-Messiah, the Antichrist, is a human. But where does it say that the false prophet is a human? It says it gives power to the beast. And I'm not saying humans aren't involved, but to say he's a specific human, I'm telling you, it's got to be the spiritual forces behind it with the media. And it might be an individual during that campaign at that last 3.5 years. But that's one of the things I was looking at. I'm going, he's not necessarily a human. The Antichrist will be, but
yeah,
that false prophet.
I'm sorry. This is the book I was thinking of. 2010, same author, Tom Horn, Forbidden Gates. Right? Here's what it says. Forbidden Gates, how genetics, robotics, artificial intelligence, synthetic biology, nanotechnology, and human enhancement herald the dawn of techno-dimensional spiritual warfare. And when he read that, I went, oh, there it is. There's the confirmation. Took about 25 years, but I got it. The dawn of techno, right? There's your tech. Dimensional, there's your portals and your other multi-dimensional beings. Spiritual warfare. Bam, right there. And I'm like, crap. I'm not insane. I know people think I'm nuts, but I'm not. too much.
Did you vomit?
Trouble is, you'll get people that will concentrate on that, and they're going to become the new elite military that's going to go against the
jeez.
portals. I'm going, yeah, that's the.
What was the name? What was that? Stargate. The movie Stargate. It's in the military
Oh,
through the
yeah.
portal.
Yep. That popularized it all. The longest running show on Sci-Fi Network.
Did you see what they found in the southern deserts of Utah yesterday?
The pillar?
The monolith.
Yeah.
You've got them flying around. It's the DWR, right? Whatever, Department of Wildlife, right? They're flying around in a helicopter looking for something, and some guy goes, "Wait, stop, turn around." And they went back and they landed the helicopter, and 3 guys got out. Dude, it's in a cove. It's in a cove like this of red rock, right? Cove, which makes it all right. That looks ritualistic. The first picture I saw of it, it's in a cove, and it's a metal, like monolith that's been planted. Like it's like found. It's deep in the ground, a monolith in the southern deserts. It's about 12 feet tall, and it looks like the monolith from Space Odyssey. And they're saying, "Oh, it's a piece of art." And they said something about how it's against the law to do that and that. If it is art, a piece of art.
It's 12 feet high.
I know, that's what I said. 12 feet high. But did you see it? Have you seen the pictures? Google it. Utah monolith. I don't know. I'm not a very good screen sharer. Oh yeah, I can screen share now because I got 2 screens going. Hold on, let me see what I can do here to get it.
Yes, sir.
Hold on, yeah.
There we go. See if I can turn it this way.
Monolith. Oh yeah. It's just nuts.
It's hard to see it.
All right, so I'm going to put this over here on this screen, and then I'm going to see if I can share screen without killing us. Share screen. Google Chrome would like to record.
Yeah, Dina says, piece of art right out there with the mountain goats.
I know, right?
And Bob Hall is trying to get you to go off on a flat Earth rant again.
Oh, jeez. Why can I not see this?
Alan, you ran a tech company at one time.
I know. Multiple times. There it is. Do you see it?
Yes.
There's a better image of it because it's like full on. Look at that. Look at that. See, look at that. It's in a cove. It's like it's not for our eyes to see. And they just stumbled across this in the desert. Look at that. It's fantastic. And it's made the news everywhere. Ooh. Should watch video. Nah, I don't want to get... Who knows what'll happen if I do that. All right. Look at this, man. Can you believe this? There's the goats. Boy, if they could talk, they could tell us a thing or two. Look at this thing. There's a full-on monolith happening out there with goats. Look at that.
The goats were worshiping. They were just speaking in tongues.
Yeah, right?
That's why they're looking so funny.
So what do you guys think of that?
Yikes.
It was like the little girl said in Poltergeist. They're back.
Yeah, they're back. Yeah. Didn't I say like 2 months or 3 months ago? Hey, by the way, I just checked out all these petroglyphs. I need to go make a little documentary about this stuff, and I need to go out there and travel to these spots out there and document it. Others have. In fact, one of the obvious Nephilim petroglyphs is actually in one of their movies, Tom Horn movies, The Cloud Eaters. They took a picture of the same one I looked at. We all turned, my wife, my youngest daughter and I, we turned the corner and we saw it and we all went, because we knew exactly what it was. So this is in the southern deserts of Utah. There's no roads. There's no car. I mean, this is like they got there by a helicopter and they saw this thing and they landed and boom, there's this. And it's been suggested now that maybe this is part of why I'm in Utah. So fascinating. What's your thoughts, people? Let's ask the commentators out there. Hey, if you're watching right now and we can actually respond, what are your thoughts of this monolith in the ground in southern Utah? It's crazy.
Is there anything on the monolith?
No, it's just. My question was: is it humming? Is there a vibration? Look at Dina.
Metal?
I'm not going to Utah anytime soon. Chicken, don't be a wuss, Dina. I'm here, but I also have the spiritual authority to be here. Avoid Utah, run.
It'd be interesting to know what kind of platform it's on, or how deep it goes into the ground. You know they're going to send people to check it out. So.
Yeah, these guys, they just disappeared. What do you think you're doing? You can't take pictures of this and publish them.
Well, you would say that they were, exiled somewhere, but the deserts of Utah are pretty much as much exile as you're going to get.
Dude, you know how much of whenever you think of Montana, you think of what is it? One person for every 100,000 miles or whatever crazy thing, right? It's so dense. There's nobody. Utah has a lot of unpopulated land, just as much as I mean, it's a lot.
Especially around the four corners, all the deserts down there. Oh my!
But that's where the Cloud Eaters were hanging out.
Yep.
This is where these Nephilim manifested. Well, the story goes that indigenous Indians in this area were visited by a spirit, and the spirit taught them how to do all this stuff, right? And open up portals. And so they opened up the portals, and Nephilim came out and started eating them because they're, red-haired, two-row teeth, carnivore. And that's the problem they had pre-Genesis. And so, then they started Yeah, that's what I was thinking. That was my first question when I saw it. Is it vibrating? Is it making a tone of some sort? What if it moves and changes locations? Oh, as long as it doesn't show up in my backyard, I'm okay. But you know what's interesting? Here's what's really interesting. When you follow the line of these petroglyphs, they skip over my general area, which I think is really weird. It's north of me, and then it kind of skips over Park City area, this part of the Uintas, and then it picks up again like 120 miles from here. I think that's interesting.
Moroni's keeping them out.
Oh my gosh.
Sorry.
So Hanukkah's in a couple weeks.
We got portals going on.
It's and it is the Feast of Dedication. So if this is a prophetic year, then what is God going to be dedicating?
Well, aren't those rabbis from hundreds of years ago saying that this would be the last Hanukkah without Messiah?
Yep. What do you guys think of the Rock Island Books guy? What's his name? Oh, gosh. I can't think of his name right now. He did that whole thing on the Bereshit prophecy.
On
It
the
was
what?
pretty impressive mathematically. You can look it up on YouTube. It's an hour long, and he just did one 7 days ago. You know, the guy's totally into the pre-trib rapture type thing, but his
What's he talking about?
mathematics are pretty impressive from the Hebrew foundations. So kind of interesting to look at. It's an eye opener.
Well, again, you just got to sit back, hold tight, don't make any sudden moves.
Right?
I refer back to David Flynn and his whole research into Sir Isaac Newton. And I found it interesting that he put his timeline the same time as the 119 guys came up with and what everybody's talking about, 2030. David Flynn was brilliant. So, and we're coming into the Shemitah year too, right?
That's next year, yeah.
Next year. They're saying it's the last one.
Temple of the Center of Time. That's what we're talking about when it comes to David Flynn.
I think I've read that 5 times and
Newton's
still
Bible Codex deciphered in the year 2012.
Yep.
I got one from his brother, Mark Flynn, The Labyrinth. This is
This is a rough read, man.
It is.
the Flynn brothers. You need to have an extra portal in your head open to understand what they're talking about.
Totally.
So I have a private group on Facebook called G6. And the primer for that group, it's not a conspiracy theorist group. The primer is David Flynn's teaching on Sidonia. Remember the face on Mars?
Mm-hmm.
All of that and how we got there. And so he just takes it and he just systematically goes through everything step by step for like an hour. And then that's it. And I'm just like, you're just like, it's a private group, so you have to ask me if you can be on it, and if I don't know who you are, I deny you. So I mean, if I don't recognize the name, that's what I meant.
Yeah, I told you I watched it about 3 weeks ago. It stirred me up again. Oh my God!
It's a fantastic primer.
But if you can, go on YouTube, check out C.J. Lovett. That's the guy's name from Rock Island Books. Check out his Bereshit prophecy. The Bereshit.
Cool.
Check this one out. Nephilim Stargate, Tom Horn, and you see that? That's that artificial-looking moon of Saturn. That doesn't look necessarily natural, but artificial. And it's suggested that it's actually a craft. So when one of the moons of Saturn starts moving towards us, run. Where? Oh my gosh.
Anyway, I got another meeting I got to go to.
I've got a grandson in the other room waiting for me.
Well, why don't we just end this then?
End it. Pull the plug.
Let's just have the rapture now.
Ooh, weird. No, I'm not ready for that. My work here is not done.
True. You have
okay.
I gotta have another sourdough donut.
I just showed you books from Tom Horn. That was Tom Horn. The other one, Temple Center of Time, is David Flynn.
All right, boys.
All right.
It's been a slice.
It has been a slice. We will see you guys later. Have a good Thanksgiving, everyone. I don't want to hear about Columbus and all that nonsense.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Hey, Bob, even though Lenny pulled a plug in the 10-minute mark last week, we started up again. So yes, last week's a two-parter. You need to find part 2. Yeah. Oh, the book that Lenny mentioned? I don't know, man.
No, I was the same one that you showed, the Temple at the Center of Time.
Temple of the Center of Time, and that's
And Sidonia is on YouTube.
David Flynn, yeah. And the Sidonia video is on YouTube. Again, if you go to G6 and ask for an invite, if I recognize your name, I'll let you in. All right. Hey, guys, it's been real. Have a great Thanksgiving. Please stay safe. Be careful. And all that awesome, groovy stuff. We'll talk to you. Did you guys want to do this again next week?
You're listening to Chameleon Church. Biblical Antidotes for the Modern Man. With your host, Allan Aguirre.
We are richly blessed to bring you what we believe is the fullest, most diverse, yet up-to-date progressive teachings, discussion, and prayer programming you can find anywhere on this planet. Be sure to take the tour of the MessianicLambRadio.com website. I'm Susan Hoogie, thanking you for joining us on the Messianic Lamb Video Network.